Welcome to the Daily High on this lovely Tuesday morning in America and Tuesday night. The show's called the Daily High, and for the first time ever, that's actually been an accurate title. Not for right now, but we had the Daily High close yesterday, Tone, on Bitcoin. How about it?
We did. And man, was streaming live last night. I just sent out the Zoom link to a bunch of people. A few of them joined, and it was a lot of fun. We were celebrating. I still have the bottles on my desk, and I only eat once a day, and I was having a late dinner, so I was on like 25 hours no food, and that's when you realize, having broke open the Yamazaki 12, followed it up with the G4. And I was definitely feeling the alcohol going to dinner after that stream, just after two drinks.
How was that Yamazaki? Was that great?
It's good. It's good. I'm trying to get into whiskeys, but we had to break that open. This was a present when I was in Japan. I brought it
Mm.
back from Japan, the Yamazaki 12, and very good bottle. I don't know. I personally still prefer the Lagavulin 16,
Mm.
but the Yamazaki 12 was excellent.
Do you remember what I was drinking in Dubai? That was unbelievable. I'm not a
You
whiskey
know
man
what?
at
That
all.
might have been, I think that was the Middleton Very Rare. It's like the $500 bottle of Irish whiskey. And Irish whiskey is usually rough, but that Middleton Very Rare was amazing.
I couldn't believe how the quality of it. It was not just that I felt great, it was that I woke up feeling great. Woke up in the morning, I'm like, I'm ready to rock. I couldn't believe it. That's what you pay for, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, it was crazy bottle. All right.
It's
This is gonna be good. It's gonna be a nice, quick show.
yeah.
I don't know. I just did a show last night on my channel, so Matt, you should go first.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick show tonight. It's actually my 11-year anniversary eve, so I have to get back to the bedroom, if you know what I mean. So let's go through the charts here.
Yeah, and I'm back in Panama, so I have a similar-ish situation. I'm back home as well.
All right. Oh, this is awesome. So we'll start in the daily time frame. This was the highest daily close Bitcoin's ever recorded. How absolutely beautiful. But today's candle is an MRI top, and it was one of concern. We'll go through the smaller time frames today. We got terribly close to an all-time high, which was very, very exciting. And it was on your show today, Tone. I was watching it. It was really fantastic. But believe it or not, I actually I normally my life is kind of funny because I have to get up early to do all the stuff with the kids and whatever, and then I normally take like a cat nap in the middle of the day, and then I'm awake here at nighttime until about 2 or 3 in the morning. So in the middle of the day again, I missed this drop, a 5.55% correction. This all happened while I was asleep during the day. So I didn't see any of this, but I was very encouraged by the rebound that we had off that. Um, and I'll show you on the 15-minute time frame. It's actually reset my bang box indicator as well, which is quite good. So that makes that eligible again. But we're right here again. And with as I go down the time frames to the 12-hour period, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the daily and that as we go through it later. But yeah, I mean, I do see this. This is a real coin flip right now. I think that will struggle to get buyers coming in with just this pure setup of like nearly all-time highs. There'd be a lot. I think that a lot of people will be concerned to get in right now, and we might see it fade and get a decent pullback to somewhere lower, unless it's the momentum starts back up again. If we start to see momentum start to build and build and build, then this thing will just crack on. This is the pullback that we needed in anticipation of all-time highs, which is actually I really like, because if we were to just today on your stream had a burst through it up to 70 or something, I think that the correction could have been deeper. Getting just a flash 5% correction and then jumping back sort of 3%, it has the potential to rebuild and rebuild that momentum back up to crack that all-time high, in my opinion. But it'll need momentum. Otherwise, it'll fade. I think. Before that momentum kicks back in. See, the 4-hour time frame here is quite clear, really, that we have even just now we've come back up and retested. We are below the 7 exponential moving average. It is always likely when we start to open candles below the 7 it's not exponential, simple moving average, that I tend to anticipate. My mindset sort of goes back down to that 30 SMA. And you know, it's just a common thread that it tends to happen like that, especially when we get extended. So I reiterate the fact that I'm be looking to come back here, which would make a lot of sense, really, that this was sort of the high here before it plateaued and meandered a little bit. And then I could see it coming back down to retest here at about 63.5. Unless we start to get a bit of a steam going, and we'll have to see market open and what the ETFs do to sort of dictate the market at this point. On the 15-minute time frame, as I said, I was really happy turning on Black Box now. That we did actually reset. I'll just turn off the MRI so you can see it quite clearly. We were able to reset the count here, which just it cracked through to the, you know, like the last few times it sort of stayed just above it, but this time it actually did come through, which is nice, because now if we do go up from here, and we start to get it, maybe it'll be around here. I don't know where it's going to come in. We will get that green arrow pointing for the next buy signal for the next leg up higher, and I really do think that that's the possibility that we came so near to the all-time high. We had a 5.5% correction. We've had a good 3% recovery. I can see with momentum getting that pink arrow there on this next attempt that will tear straight through it. That's all I'm seeing right now. I'm very interested in looking at see what the S&P is doing, but I really want to see your thoughts on Bitcoin. It's still a cause for celebration. This is just absolutely terrific. I don't see us crashing 50% from here, anything ridiculous like that. I think it's still, I like that it recovered. I like that it's building back up. It could go lower, but I still think that then at a reasonable price, it'll start that momentum again. And once momentum kicks in again, this thing's off. That's my opinion. After 70 plus.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. The time frame I'm paying most attention to right now is going to be the daily chart. But let's kick off with the weekly. The weekly is on pace halfway through its MRI count. And I do think that there's a high probability we get into that $84,000 to $92,000 range right before the halving, along with an MRI top. If that happens, I am a seller here. I am going to take some significant profits here at the top, which I think would be a bit of a top before a significant pullback of 25 to 30%. So I would be looking to take between 30% and 50%. And if it starts to go down from there, maybe even more, and I can always buy back in if I'm wrong or if we're crossing that area back to the upside. But the weekly chart is not what's interesting. What's interesting is the daily chart. This is the 4-hour chart. This is the allocation chart. I'll skip that for now.
Well, it is worth noting that it is on a MRI top as well. I know that you don't pay attention to the MRI on the 4-day, but it's correlation with the daily and the 4-hour as well, which you'll go through.
Right. Exactly. And here is that all-time high marker. I have it as an orange line. And on this particular index, it is $69,999 on different indices or on different exchanges. The number is a little bit different. I think this is a good number because it is one of the higher nominal values. So if you're going to break the all-time high, you want to make sure that it breaks it across everything. You want to make sure it breaks it across all currencies. You want to make sure it breaks it across all exchanges. And we came so close last night. Now, I did say on yesterday's stream, when you and I did it, that I am looking to take some profit in my retirement account, either yesterday before market closed or today. I did not get a chance to take that profit yesterday, but I will be taking profit today unless I see the all-time high being broken before noon Eastern time. Otherwise, I do think we have topped. This is not only an MRI top on the daily, it's also an extension C on the daily. And I drew this, I believe in my video yesterday. I might have drawn this rectangle on our show. So I'm going to shorten this by 1. So I was either looking for this top to be the candle before the MRI, the candle of the MRI, or the candle after the MRI. If we remain above the all-time high, so if this is Tuesday, in the US, then this is Wednesday and Thursday. If on Thursday we are above the all-time high, this is back to being to me buying back into the market. I am only expecting a 1 to 4 candle correction. I'm not expecting much more. I am expecting us to hold the 20%, sorry, the 20-day moving average on a daily chart. Just like Matt said, I am not expecting a major 50% correction. I'm not even expecting a 25% correction here. We already got 5%. We can maybe go 15%. Let me see how far this is to the moving average. Yeah, 15%. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for. My worst case scenario right now is going all the way down to the breakout area, to the next moving average, which is 23%. So maybe I am considering a 25% correction. I think that is possible, but I think it's a little less likely. I do think that because if we go this far down, we're going to break the weekly MRI count. And I'm not expecting us to break the weekly MRI count. So I'm not looking for a 25% correction until after we reach the $80,000 level. However, there is one more line I'm paying attention to. Since the all-time high, inflation has been nuts. Inflation since the all-time high is pretty much 15%. So if you want to be absolutely sure you've broken the all-time high across all time frames, all currencies, and all economic metrics, you also need to break the inflation adjusted all-time high, which is an additional 14%, which means Bitcoin needs to go above 78,000. And I actually do think we have a good crack at that before the halving. So that's another milestone I am looking at. Zooming out one more time, where do I have another critical level of resistance now that we have reached, open air territory? Besides the weekly MRI top, I would be looking for a rejection at the 1.62 Fibonacci extension, which comes in at 102,000 or anywhere in that vicinity. If we're saying 97, 98,000, that's close enough in my book. And if we are reaching that level, pre-halving or around the halving with an MRI top at the Fibonacci extension, oh man, that is as clean of a top as you get. Just like sometimes you get that perfect buying opportunity, that could be that perfect selling opportunity. As for the allocation, I don't want to spend time writing in notes, but unless something drastic changes, like unless we crash a lot in the next 5 hours before like 10, 11 a.m. Eastern, or we sitting literally at the all-time high at 10, 11 a.m. Eastern, I will be taking approximately 20% off of prematurely off of my retirement account from my position in Fidelity's ETF. Here's the short-term look. We were looking at that 10-minute yesterday. Here is the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, let me see the MRI. I think it might have reset, which is good. The MRI might have reset. It's still loading. We had that symmetric triangle. Oh, wow, look at that. We popped. Perfect top with the MRI on the 4-hour. It topped on the candle after, which is right within its parameters. Had a reversal doji candle. And down we went. Had a 1 to 4 candle correction. It's possible that this downside is over. What I will not do today is I will not be selling at the peak. I don't like to sell at the peak, even though it's a daily MRI top, because it can go up all day long. If I am selling at the peak, it would be at like 3:30 p.m. at market close. If we are sitting at, say, above 70,000, say closer to 71,000 by 4 p.m. today, I will be taking profit then as well. But if we are rising through noon, I will just wait for a bit of a pullback later on to get out. Gold is making new all-time highs across all currencies, across all time frames, but probably not even close to inflation-adjusted levels. Man, inflation-adjusted levels, gold might have to go to like 3,000 to reach an all-time high. I'll do the math on that later. S&P took a little bit of a break yesterday. Was a nice quiet day. Tesla stock took a little bit of a tumble. I got to adjust some of my trades in Tesla. Bitcoin miners have not been performing great, but I remain bullish on the stock market So that's pretty much it for me.
Mate,
Matt, unless you have anything else to add.
yeah, I'd love to just throw a question at you on the 4 hour time frame. If you wouldn't mind pulling it back up, or the
Mhm.
daily. Oh, we could just talk
Yeah,
about it
and
here. We'll just talk about it here.
no,
So
I'll pull it up because I forgot to glance at the 1 hour. I want to pull that up as well.
sure, sure. Well, I was just really interested because the 4 hour time frame is brilliant for me, and I don't if we see like, even now with this 1 to 4 candle MRI correction, let's say that in 3 hours and 30 and 23 minutes time, we're gonna have to get to start the count, we're gonna have to get back up to the tops of the previous candles, the high candles there, okay? And but that'll set us up really, really nicely. I I don't think that you'd pull profit. I know that you said you'd let it ride, but if we do a beautiful 4 hour MRI top, have a textbook 1 to 4 candle correction, and we completely recover a flash crash of 5.5%. I don't think the all-time high is safe whatsoever. I think that we could tear through it on the second attempt. If that momentum builds back up with the ETFs and opening today, I don't know. That's not a gimme that you would take your profit on today's candle, even though the daily is in. How do you rectify that? That will you just systematically take the MRI top on the daily because that's your rules? If this candle's green, tearing through the all-time high, I don't know. How do you
Okay,
use your discretion here?
so let me. So here's how I would do it. Right? If Let me replicate a candle here. So yesterday's candle was a massive green candle. If the market opens at 9:30 and everyone and their mother buys the Bitcoin ETFs and the market is pumping, like for example, if the current candle is just barely breaking the all-time high and it's slowly rising, I I will not pull profit. But if today's candle starts to replicate yesterday's candle,
Mhm.
or if it starts to replicate this candle back here, what will happen on the 4 hour chart is we reset the count, we make a new green star candle, and sometime by tomorrow morning, we would end up with another MRI top on the 4 hour chart. So I will not be pulling profit if we are slowly rising during the day. But if we are going exponential again, and we are sitting over 71,000, maybe even over 71 and a half at market close today, I would be pulling profit at the close.
Just
Uh,
redo those arrows there because you've got a correction in there. So I don't think if the MRI count is going to continue, it's going to have that correction and then also go to 78 or up like that. I think it would go. It'll look more like a straight line rather than that
right,
correction.
because remember, the current candle still has an entire trading day in it.
Yeah.
So it's possible that we close today's candle over 70,000.
Right.
Very, very possible,
Yeah.
right? And now, yes, it looks like the MRI has called the top last night, like an hour into the candle, but it's also possible that the MRI is going to call, the
Yeah.
top 12 hours from right now.
Right. Yeah.
And if 12 hours from right now we're sitting closer to $72,000,
Yep.
I will be looking to take profit on that. In fact,
Yep.
I'll be even more comfortable taking profit then than right now because I do think some correction is coming.
Yeah.
And if we do reach 72,000, then the possibility of a 15% correction starting later this week is very, very likely. So there is that narrow window in the middle. If we are breaking the all-time high, peacefully, I will probably continue to hold. But if we are not able to break the all-time high by noon today, or we are breaking the all-time high violently to the upside, those are the two areas where I take profit.
And that's so a great way to put it. And that's the answer that I thought you'd give. and you've done it really well. I'm in a funny position with the current trade that I'm in because for me, I've got a line in the sand. I'm taking at least half a Bitcoin out of this trade. And at the moment, it's at about 0.65 Bitcoin profit in this trade. So I want to hold on to this thing. I've decided that 0.5 is enough. I know people hate it when I put monetary values on things, but 0.5 Bitcoin is enough for me to chance an upside of getting at least, one Bitcoin out of the trade. I don't want to, I'm not satisfied with 0.6. I'd be satisfied with 0.5 with the chance to roll the dice on a higher trade. That's where I'm sitting in the position. And that's not technical. That's just a personal reflection of the market, but it's based on technicals because of the 4 hour and everything else. So do you think that's crazy? That's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, remember, you can always go back in a little bit later, right?
Right.
Like, so, oh man, I wish that I was doing that. Will we break the all-time high stream, during market trading hours and not, at 8, 9 p.m. Eastern time. But the 1 hour is looking good right now.
Yeah.
So I do think that the market will be bullish. I'm gonna try to, exit at the peak, and around 11, like 10 to 11 a.m. will probably be the peak in the market. And that's when I'll be watching the markets like a hawk. I have been trading the markets a little more actively lately. So I do have my trading account open during the day. And I'll be watching that market. If we are not reversing at 10 to noon, if we are slowly creeping up 10 to noon, I have no problem holding it. And as long as we don't go, parabolic on the way up by end of day close, I'll keep holding it into tomorrow, because tomorrow is another potential day for me to exit at the top. And you take it day by day. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's wrap it up. Brilliant show. Fantastic.
Sounds good. All right. Go ahead and close us out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. We're getting great viewership, 2,000 plus per show. It means a lot to us. And please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. We're working really hard to bring these shows to you. And as I said, it means a lot to us. Please use the affiliate links in the description below if you're interested in trading. It's a great way to be part of it. Please visit tonebase.com, alphametrics.com. See you tomorrow. Can't wait. Thanks, Tone.
Yep. And check out Financial Summit, the in-person event.
That's filling up. That's
all
filling
that,
up.
dude. I gotta put a sold out sticker on those top villas behind me, Matt. You better hurry up. You can use that 0.5 Bitcoin to secure a nice room right now.
I want one of those ones with the pools on it on the water there. That sounds really good.
Yep.